Hi again everybody, it's Michael Leahy here. In this video for the App Challenge, I want to provide you with a quick overview of the Runtime SDKs that are available for you to develop applications with the ArcGIS platform. You can get to an overview of these from the ArcGIS for Developers portal, which gives you a quick summary of the different Runtime SDKs that are available for different programming languages and platforms. And what each of these SDKs enables you to do is create applications that incorporate ArcGIS functionality and content and services that you create in ArcGIS Online in applications that look and feel native within each of the platforms that you develop for. It's really easy to get started working with the Runtime SDK within any of these platforms or development environments. If you have previous experience developing applications for one of these contexts, that will likely determine your choice for which version of the Runtime SDK to get started working with. Keep in mind that the choice that you make will potentially determine what kinds of operating systems or platforms you're able to deploy your application to. You'll find that each version of the ArcGIS Runtime SDK is accompanied by excellent documentation that will quickly get you started developing your native applications with ArcGIS functionality. Let's take a quick look at the guide for the ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Android. And you can see that you're stepped through installing the SDK and getting you developing with your first mapping application. And from there you can explore all the different things you can do with the SDK to add features and functionality to your native application. Each SDK is accompanied by a detailed API reference documentation, which gives you all of the detailed information that you need to work with the various tools and objects that are available within that SDK. And of course, to really help you learn to work with the SDK on each platform, you'll find that there's a suite of samples that you can download from the Esri GitHub repository. I've already downloaded this and opened it in Android Studio for the Android SDK. And you can see here that I have the Change Base Maps sample open, and you can see how the user interface is laid out, and you can take a look at the code behind this that drives this application. And from within Android Studio we can run this and see it operate within a simulator for the Android device. And so we can see that this sample shows us how we can easily connect to and add different base maps to our applications. And we can interact with that in a way that shows how this works within a native Android application. So you can work through all of these different samples. As you're developing your own application, you'll likely find a sample that touches on different aspects of the SDK that provide the functionality that you need in specific areas of an application that you're working on. Now keep in mind, when you use a Runtime SDK to develop a native application, if you choose to develop something that is specific to a given platform, that may present a challenge for you when it comes time to submitting your project for the App Challenge. You want to take that into consideration and ensure that you can coordinate to submit your projects, because you won't have enough time to submit an application to an official app store and have it approved and available in time for your application to be judged for the contest. An alternative to developing native standalone applications that depend on one of the ArcGIS Runtime SDKs is to instead extend existing ArcGIS Desktop applications. If we head back to the ArcGIS for Developers portal and open this section here, you can see an outline of the different options you have for extending ArcGIS Desktop. For example, in ArcGIS Pro, you can configure tasks that introduce streamlined workflows. You can add geoprocessing functionality that you develop in Python. Or you can extend ArcGIS Pro itself with custom add-ins that bring new functionality and features that you develop in the Pro SDK for .NET. Similarly, you can create add-ins for ArcGIS for desktop applications like ArcMap and ArcCatalog that you build using ArcObjects. Or if you prefer developing in the Python programming language, you can easily create custom geoprocessing tools that are directly accessible from ArcGIS Desktop applications, and for example can be incorporated into model builder workspaces. One other option you might consider is developing an add-in for ArcGIS Desktop using Python code. So this documentation here shows you what you can do with Python code to create custom add-ins to add functionality directly to ArcGIS for desktop applications. So you can see that there are a variety of ways for you to develop new and interesting applications by extending existing aspects of the ArcGIS platform as an alternative to developing your own standalone applications to submit for the App Challenge.